problem that they have right now is the Manchurians are coming in and putting a brake on it. That's really what's happening. That's really what's going on. You need to know the real politics. So now let's do this. And here you go again. Federal Reserve notes are unsigned checks written on a closed account. What happens when people are dealing with these instruments and they don't know that? And they keep talking about they got money and interest and everything. They don't know what the hell they're talking about.
The board, Federal Reserve, you say right inside there, that's the fraud. That's one of the frauds that the banks have been putting on the people in the mortgage thing. They'll say that they transfer them the money in a check. When you read their circular, a check is not.
A check is a security.
What they're calling money.
Look at this.
But they're not even.
Yeah, but look at this. No, but look, let's tell the truth. Let's be clear.
Right,
Federal Reserve notes.
Right.
Private commercial paper.
Right.
Checks. Securities. You cannot foreclose on a security.
Right.
They've been converting these checks and the private commercial paper and foreclosing on them, separating the mortgage and the promissory note, which already voided the claim, and you can't foreclose on a security. What do people start arguing? Payments and money and all this stuff. They're incompetent when they should be arguing the state. Now, if they do argue a state, and they are listed as Negro, black, or colored, or white, and they didn't clarify it, you understand? They also have no claim. That's why people, when they go to these arguments with the IRS or with foreclosure, that's why 99% of them lose. Because they're arguing the wrong argument. And they keep calling things what they're not. They keep making up synonyms. Not that that's not correct. You don't need to make up synonyms. There's private commercial paper, which is what Federal Reserve notes are. Checks are securities. Why do you keep calling them other things? Like, it ain't real money. Stop the stupid stuff. They're securities, private commercial paper. Say what they are, because that's how you're going to beat them. That's what it is. Stop calling what it ain't. And you don't have to say what I really meant. Say what it is.
Private commercial paper.
Because when you make an argument in high courts, or in world courts, you better say what it is. You start making up other stuff that we can synonymously agree that it is, you're incompetent. This is what we need to understand. This is why you see me constantly correcting people, not that it's not comprehended what you're trying to say. It is designated private commercial paper. You can say fiat, private commercial paper. Call it anything else, you've just given them a spurious argument to twist it on you. And then when you do, you're lost. You gave them the brick and they smacked you upside the head. Look at it that way. But we can't get our egos out of our mouths, you know, trying to be cute or credit or you know, how do you say, trying to be cute or clever. Call it what it is, because when you're getting in these estate arguments, they're not playing with you.
Right.
They're operating on unum sanctum operation. They eliminate people. Say what it is. And be yourself when you do it. And if you ain't going to be yourself, stay out of them venues. Because when you go in them venues talking trash, lights on. You're on stage. And everybody's actors. Don't let them close the curtain on you. You know what I mean? So anyway, but this is back to what we're talking with them guys, right? All right, look at this. So this is where people get the UCC processes from, the financial statements, etc. Here. There's a fundamental difference between quote-unquote paying a debt and discharging a debt. To pay a debt, you must pay with value or substance, i.e. gold, silver bar, or commodity. With Federal Reserve notes, you can only discharge debt. You cannot pay a debt with a debt currency system. You cannot service a debt with a currency that has no backing in value or substance. No contract in common law, and we talked earlier about how common law is invoked and how it's not invoked, right, is valid unless it involves an exchange of good and valuable consideration. Unpayable debt transfers power and control to the sovereign power structure that has no interest in money, law, equity, or justice because they have so much ill-gotten wealth already. In other words, through the fraud instruments, they've claimed your estate. Any instrument you give them, you be thinking is money. They know it's not. private commercial paper. That's why you see the Europeans light cigars with 100 notes,
Yeah,
and
right.
poor people are impressed. And you know, when he's rich, he light his cigar with a $100 bill and blah, 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 blah. He already knows printing presses in the back room. You know, stop. You know, we're the only ones out to lunch. The mystery is to keep us thinking it's money.
Right.
Keep us saying it's money.
Right.
So we don't recognize that they are bond bookkeeping instruments against the closed account of our estate. Duh. So the Pope got to tell you, which is why I read the Pope's letter first. Because they just don't believe us. Anyway, hold on. And so look here. Federal Reserve System is based on the canon law. You look up the common law, and it is the only law that trumps the Roman law, canon law. You know the canon law, that's where the straw man was built on, with the, Bureau of Refugees and Abandoned Lands, which is renamed the Freedmen's Bureau. It closed Freedmen's Bureau, so the people didn't get their 40 acres and a mule, nor the 3630 agreement, nor patriation between the Rocky Mountains and the Alleghenies. They murdered Lincoln, and they created the straw man corpse, the dead, under the 14th Amendment, registered these people as Christian property in corporate state of Delaware, and that's the bond system. Coup of 1861 solidified by the Act of Congress. 1871 is the bureaucratization of slavery, which the Pope talked about 150 years ago. That corruption, and the African Americans were used as the chattel bond behind U.S. government debt. So how is it that some Christian white sovereign or any other people got claim on these bonds? It is you. That's why Noble Drawley did what he did in 1913. Now, let's look at here, let's go a little further. And if you pay attention to records, congressional records, war records, everything, they can tell you anything. I mean, you can trace a lot of stuff. Now look here. Prior, and this is back to what we're talking about, and this is why I was talking to them the way I was talking to them when they started playing dumb. And they wait till